Daily drivers. We all have them, whether it's quite literally the vehicle you drive daily, comfortable, casual, gets you from point A to point B reliably, or whether you're more inclined to doing stuff to your vehicles, and your daily's more the backup that doesn't get the most attention. There's a lot out there, and they all deserve some appreciation.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. One of the things I've been going for with this vehicle ever since I got it basically has been trying to make it my perfect daily driver. Now, perfect's going to be subjective to whatever it is you're specifically going for, but I think most of us can agree on what we want out of a daily driver in that it's reliable, relatively comfortable, easy to work on, and gets good performance, whether that be fuel economy, horsepower, towing capacity, whatever it is you're going for out of your vehicle.
So there's basically always been a gap between vehicles you really want to build up and your dailies, which makes sense. I mean, dailies are meant to be practical, so they're not always going to get the most direct attention. But what really drew me in is when people would just take the time and customize their dailies, because you can definitely feel a lot of pride from your vehicle, and having that every day with something you're going to drive all the time is definitely something I wanted to emulate. So my main goal was to get a vehicle that I could bridge that thought process with and all the aspects of a daily, with a specific emphasis on fuel economy. I wasn't trying to go too expensive, so it kind of ruled out a lot of the newer electric vehicles, but there are some older model hybrids that really did pique my interest. I was between the Chevy Malibu Eco and the Ford Fusion hybrid. For the Fusion, I didn't really have too much perspective because I didn't really know too much about them other than I liked the styling. The thing that drew me in is when I dug a little deeper, I realized they had a ton of different trim levels and drivetrain options, from the plug-in hybrid all the way to the all-wheel drive twin turbo V6 in the Sport. So seeing that there was that much of a range and in return that much of aftermarket support and a community for it, I was drawn in even more. And then on top of that, it got substantially better fuel economy, so it was the easy option. This is a 2014 Ford Fusion Hybrid SE. And this was actually one of the cheapest ones I could find on AutoTrader, and it was white, which I really liked because it stays cleaner longer, or more so you can't always tell when it's dirty. And it had a sunroof, so I was really wanting to go for it. Then the roof wrap was done by a family friend. He had a bunch of extra vinyl, so he just came over one afternoon and knocked it out. But other than that, I didn't do too much to this car for a while. I had a little game plan in my head of what I wanted to do, and at the center of it all were these headlights. When the S550 was introduced, I was really in love with the look. And seeing that there's some similarities in the styling between the Mustang and the Fusion, finding a set of headlights that resembled them really got me excited. Obviously, the S550 has a single projector, whereas these headlights have dual projectors, but I really liked that because it made it more noticeably different, which is exactly what I'm going for. I'm not trying to replicate the Mustang, more just take some styling cues from it. I also ended up getting this carbon fiber grille for the car. I had it since last October, and it did play to that Mustang styling as well, being that the slats kind of lined up pretty similarly, but I ended up upgrading to this custom grille from JMay Racing. It has a little bit more of a different design, but I do really love how it gives the front end a more immersive and aerodynamic look. It adds depth and angles to the car and really just steps up the presence of the front end as a whole. Now going further into the front end, one thing I've always loved that I feel gives vehicles a much sleeker look and gives them that bit of attention to detail are front lips and splitters. Being again that this car's a daily, I didn't want to have to worry about scraping and bottoming out to where this piece would be damaged. This car is still at stock height, and the fact that I still scrape I think tells you a lot about Texas roads, especially in Austin. This is actually a happy medium. I was gifted this 3D carbon lip from my girlfriend Yvette. This thing is actually perfect for a daily driver because the material it's made out of is actually malleable. So whether you're bottoming out or taking a hard angle, this piece will actually flex and conform to the road, so I really don't have to worry about damaging it. To the point where I would probably refer to this more as a bumper extension, because it kind of caresses the bumper and reaches up to the lower section of the fog light housings, whereas most lips and splitters usually just mount directly underneath the bumper. So with as often as I drive the car and whatever conditions of the road, I feel really comfortable having this piece. It's from a company called 3D Carbon, located in Round Rock, Texas, and we ordered it from cd3performance.com. I've always been a fan of white cars with black wheels, and I knew I wanted to upgrade from these factory wheels. So in searching, I found these wheels off of a Focus ST. I got them painted in a nice metallic black, and they're only an inch bigger than stock, so there's really no drop off in fuel economy, and if there is, it's very minimal. Now with any daily, you get to the point where you realize you're gonna spend a lot of time sitting inside the car, which made me want to dress up the interior a bit. First thing I added was my Xbox. There are some RCA inputs in the center console, and to my surprise, it worked super easily. This car came with a full tan interior that I wanted to swap out for a black interior. I sourced a donor car that had a full black interior, and that car was even in titanium, so the interior was a little bit more dressed up. I took the seats, door panels, miscellaneous interior panels. I took it upon myself to get the upper half of the interior to match the bottom, because the upper half doesn't come black from the factory. So between painting and sourcing interchangeable black parts from an MKZ, I was able to black out the full interior. I also added these cool purple seat belts courtesy of SafetyRestore.com, and I added Starlight headliner as well as footwell lights to brighten up the interior, especially at night. I even got the interior trim color match to the car, which has a really nice pop of color when the light hits it. Coming to the rear end and rounding out the car, the first thing was that this car did not come with a spoiler. So rather than just order a factory style spoiler and install it, I found this custom LED spoiler that was painted gloss black, and this is what originally sold me on a monochromatic vibe for the car. There were two areas that I definitely wanted to address though, one in being the taillights and the other the single exit exhaust. For the taillights, I felt that they gave the car a more dated look, and in an effort to modernize it, I installed these Porsche style taillights. They're LEDs and they really give the rear end of the car a new aesthetic, especially with the spoiler. Then for the exhaust, I wanted to go for more of a symmetrical look with the cutouts on both sides, so there were two options, a titanium style exhaust or a Fusion Sport style exhaust. I like the styling of the Fusion Sport more, and it was cheaper and an easier swap, so that's the route I took, and it also allows for a lot more customization. On the exhaust tips, for a very subtle pop of color, I got these blue burnt tips with a glossy carbon fiber surround. There's a bunch more I've done to this car, but it's all just kind of gets into the details, but these are the things I really feel helped modernize my car and make it my perfect daily driver.